Hello, everyone. Welcome to this last class of the partial 2. And this is the very last part of writing the case. This is kind of the last thing to do, which is highlighting the findings. What did you find that is interesting from your case study? So with this, we will finish second partial, which was mostly focused on gathering data and writing the case. Then in the last partial or the last part of the semester, we are going to write the contributions, the theoretical contribution, and then just polish the paper. And I think we still need to write the methodology. So let's focus on this presentation. And let me show you a few conceptual things that you need to know about findings and that might be useful for you write this. So first, what are the findings? Well, there are usually only two or three. Like I think for us, it might be very interesting that the case study had something or whatever happened. But in the end, you have to summarize it in two or three findings that are very, very clear. That's something that that I need to be very specific. You have to be extremely clear. So what are the findings? Usually findings are something that you want the reader to remember from your paper. So it's something that you want to highlight at the end of the paper. Also, findings are usually surprising about the case study. And usually findings contradict or sometimes they agree with something that was already known from the literature, right? So it is more interesting when you contradict something, right? Like maybe if you write a paper about flying pigs and you found one pig that can fly, that will be very interesting, right? And if you do a paper about flying pigs and you found zero pigs that can fly, I think that's quite boring. So in the end, it's more about trying to find contradictions on the theory or trying to maybe find similarities or agree with theories that are surprising, like maybe theories that or theories or assumptions that are surprising in effect. So maybe you are building into that knowledge, a knowledge that is already surprising. Then other two key elements are that the findings are easy to recognize when you read a paper. Sometimes I read papers that I don't know what they did or why they found. They write so much about so many things that in the end I'm like, whoa, I didn't really get the point. So make it clear, like when you write it, you should specifically and you should write it like that, like these are the three or two findings or contribution. And also be consistent. If you say that you have these two findings, keep that line throughout the whole paper, only two findings, and focus everything, the discussion on these two findings. And remember that the findings need to be online with the framework. Like, don't say something that you haven't discussed previously. Like maybe you were talking about budgets, and in the end you found that human resources are interesting, and you have a finding from human resources. It's like if you talk about budgets in the literature review, why are you telling me that something that a finding or something interesting is on human resources? It doesn't make any sense. Then write a paper about human resources and not a paper about budgets. So remember, keep that in your mind. Remember the two or three important things from your framework and from your literature. So keep that in the section where you define your findings. So in the next video, I will explain a few points about the structure of this. How and where should you write the findings?